session of Visual JForex, I will be demonstrating to you the use of indicator named Parabolic Sar extended. This is a more advanced version of the Parabolic Sar which we saw in the yesterday's session. Now in today's session we will see how we can utilize this version, the newer version of the Parabolic SAR. We will see its functionality and how it is different from the Parabolic SAR and the additional features which we get in this indicator. So here it is, Parabolic SAR. It is classified under the other section of the indicators listed on the Visual JForex platform. Now we head to the Visual JForex board developed by the Dukascopy Bank SA. You will find this indicator listed in the other classified indicators. So here, so far in earlier sessions, we have seen these indicators and how to utilize these indicators on the Visual JForex platform to design and develop the algorithmic setup. Now it's the turn of SAR extended, the parabolic SAR extended indicator. For today's session, we will use the on candle as our start point. And here, the extended version has lot more parameters which need to be defined compared to what we saw in case of SAR. I will also take the SAR side by side so you can do the comparison and see the difference. We have already seen how the SAR initial values are calculated and what is the formula behind it. So we will not really go into the technicalities of the parabolic SAR, and I will only explain to you the additional parameters which come into play when we take this SAR extended indicator. So here, as you can see, we have these separate parameters which need to be defined for the long side, that is the buy setup, as well as for the short side, that is the sell side setup. And in the SAR version, we had only these parameters which were applicable for both the sides, for the long side as well as for the buy side. In case of SAR extended, we have to define these differently. That is, we can customize in case if we want to set the parameters differently both for the buy side as well as for the sell side. So that is the difference here. And also we have this start value and the offset on reverse, which is new for this SAR extended indicator, and these parameters were not available for the SAR. We will plot this indicator block on the JForex platform so that you can see how this new configuration changes the way the SAR extended indicator works. All you have to do is do the quick search here, SAR extended, parabolic SAR extended. Okay, so now I have added the parabolic SAR extended indicator on the chart. This is the USD JPY chart on the hourly time frame, and as you are aware that whenever we have the SAR values below the candlesticks closing levels, we consider it as the marker of the bullish underlying sentiment, and when the SAR values are above the candlesticks closing level, then that is indicative of the fact that undertone the trend is on the bearish side for the underlying instrument. And sometimes what happens there, when there is not much of a movement and the underlying instrument is only moving sideways, in such scenarios this kind of zigzag moves happen where we don't really get big trends, and rather after small moves the direction changes for the instrument, and as a result of that these multiple trade signals are generated, and To avoid such scenarios, we can customize this indicator better, or we can use the parabolic SAR extended in conjunction with other indicators like moving averages or whichever indicator you feel like. So that option is always there. Now coming to its input parameters, to see how the changes in these input parameters cast uh, impact on these plotting, you will have to do some experimentation and try to see how the impact is going to happen as we change these input parameters. Now, if we change, say, the start value, we don't really see much of an impact happening. Now, I have changed the start value to 10, 100. There is not much of an impact. So, start value doesn't make much of an impact. But offset on reverse, whenever you change the offset on reverse, we see big change happening in the plotting of this parabolic SAR extended value. As you can see, if you are giving attention to these minor uh, changes which are happening as I am changing the value. So here the plotting is a lot more different on how we are using this offset on reverse value. So the takeaway is that this parameter works the way you want to work with. Suppose if you feel like that increasing its value is going to yield better result, then you can do so. All you have to do is see what is the version which is going to give you the best possible trades, and the probability for profitability is going to be higher, and that is the version you choose to run with. Now coming to the initial acceleration, as you are aware, in case of the SAR, we have to choose the initial acceleration and then the incremental acceleration. So here the initial acceleration for the first dot of this SAR value is kept with the acceleration of 0.02, and then the incremental acceleration as the price action progresses, as the trend progresses, we see the changes in plotting of these SAR values, and whenever the undertone is bullish, we see this plotting of the SAR dots on the higher side, and these are plotted using the particular acceleration. And when we choose the incremental acceleration value, which is going to be different than 0.02, so we will see that the plotting is going to be a lot more different. So this incremental acceleration makes a lot of difference, and also the initial acceleration also is going to play an important role. So these are some of the changes which happen as we change this factor. And also you can choose different values for the maximum acceleration. Suppose if I make it 0.3, the plotting will be a lot more different. If I make it 0.5, the plotting will again change. So depending on how we define these input parameters for the long trade, we will see the changes happening in how the plotting is done. Now we have changed the input parameters for the long side, but we haven't really changed the input parameters for the short side. These short side parameters are with the default values, but here also we have this option. We can, for example, make the initial acceleration 0.9, and then the incremental acceleration also at 0.09, and the maximum acceleration can also be changed. So all these changes are possible. The ultimate aim or ultimate goal of this customization is always going to be the profitability factor. If we see that if we find that the changes which we are going to make in these values are going to improve the profitability, then we will go with that particular setup. But to see what kind of setup is going to be more profitable, of course you will have to do a lot of permutation combinations and arrive at the optimum combination. Will need to do the testing on historical data so that you will be sure that the changes which you are working on are going to work in the trading setup and will improve the profitability and bring in more profit for it for the trade. So now I have restored the values for the initial setup and as per the default values. So the whole point of this webinar is to explain to you that there is no perfect combination. We have to figure out what is the combination which we will like to work with and then customize the parameters. And we have these multiple options for us to customize these indicator, and this is the enhanced version of the parabolic SAR. So I hope you will be utilizing all these choices given to you and you will figure out the possible combination which will give you the increased profitability. And after defining all these input value, we get the output value, the plotting values, and depending on this whether the trend is on the upside or on the downside can be decided, and then with the help of these indicator we can go for the trading opportunities emerging day in day out. So that's it from my side for today's session. uh, if any of you have any query or any idea to share, you can write it in the comment section and I would be more than happy to take the discussion forward. Thank you all for joining in. Have a fabulous day ahead. Goodbye.